grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, God evening to all. I am Justin B. from Spokane, Washington, and I am a son of an all-powerful and perfectly loving God and a qualifying addict and a member of multiple fellowships living in the miracle of recovery. And I'm here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, come say hi and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M, and I want to be in Spokane, Washington, because I'm in Toronto, Canada, and it is almost April, and there was snow on the ground this morning. So I'm a proud member of this fellowship, and I'm going to try to find the glory in this long winter. I'm here at the table. This is going to warm me up real quick. Thank you.
And thank you for joining me here at the table, Nikki. This is a good place to be on we're recording on a Monday morning, and it's a great place to be. So just a real quick recap on what Noodle It Out with Nikki is and what the RICO 12 family of recovery resources is. Just a resource to help you in your recovery, to help you in your relationship with God of your understanding, or as I often like to say it now, God of my that I don't understand, the God that I do not understand. But I'm very grateful that we can dive into the big book, into the solution and problems and questions that we face in our lives, in our recovery, in the lives of those we work with and those we love, and try to, point in that direction. So, Nikki, before we started recording today, you asked me a question. You said, what would you do in this situation? And then you read a message you received from one of your sponsees, and it had to do something with get control of somebody else. I need you to control somebody else for me in order for me to be at peace. So talk to me a little bit about that. Let's noodle that out.
Yes, let's noodle that out. So today's, as you said, we record on Monday mornings because we're all pumped up after the noodle meeting. And it was Sunday yesterday, and I got this message in the afternoon. It was not from my sponsee. It was from a fellow in the rooms, okay? And he said, it was like, how are you? Prelude. And then it said instantly, please educate your sponsee about respecting others' boundaries. And I was like, wait, what? I just looked at it first. I did pause. I was like, let me read this again. This is from a recovered member of a 12-step program, okay? He's been in the rooms. He's got a nice sobriety. He sponsors. He's my equal, right? We're all commencing shoulder to shoulder. That's what it says in our big book, because let's have the big book out. It says page 152. We commence shoulder to shoulder our common journey, or maybe that's page 153. It's right there, the 12-step promises. And him and I have commenced shoulder to shoulder. So then he sends me this message. Please educate your sponsee about respecting others' boundaries. Well, I like to speak in big book. And so I copied and paste, because that's what I'll do. I'll go on my phone and I'll, copy the writing. I can't type it out. I went to page 120 and I put, we never arrange a person's life. So that was my first response right off the bat. Like, I'm going to speak big book back to a big book person. So why is this big book sponsor telling me to educate and then go deeper, my sponsee? This guy's worked the steps. This dude's not my sponsee, because there's no sponsee in the big book. We commence shoulder to shoulder. You want it like this? I had to go deep on this, because it's like, next comment was experience, strength, and hope. Nothing is mine, sir. It was a man I was replying to. And it was like, nothing is mine, not my children, not even my sponsees. So this is not my sponsee. This is a child of God. So what was my next suggestion to him? Speak directly to this person. not my sponsee, not to your fellow. Address him, not me. Are you guys doing that? Like when someone comes to you and they say, well, can you tell your coworker? Go talk to the coworker. And I use this example with Justin. It was like, because that's what I said to Justin, like, what would you do if someone said to you, like, I have a grown son and so do you. If someone came, even if the police, let's go deep, my son is 20. And if someone came and the police came and said, well, your son, it's like, excuse me, officer, my son is 20. He's not my son. We actually don't even have the last name. Go to his place. I'm not his mother anymore. Like that, like, go deep here, you guys. I'm not responsible for other people's actions, boundaries, words, thoughts, ideas. Remember, we quit playing God. It doesn't work. Quit playing God. I think that's page 62. So now, as I said to Justin, if it's, I don't pick on, but I just love to pick on little grandbaby. If it's, because I don't have one and I borrow Justin's, if it's our little grandson in a play group and he's on another little guy, yeah, we're going to go over and the mom says, can you get your son? Yeah, we're going to go over and get grandson off someone else's child. That's their babies. This guy is, the man that he's talking about is a 47-year-old person. I'm not going to tell him anything. So page 120, we never arrange a person's life. Then what was the next quote I gave him? Page 66. This is our course. Go deep with me, Mario Andretti. We're on a course. This is the racetrack we are on. We picked this course. And on this course, fellow who wrote me this text, this course says that the people who wrong us, i.e., step on your quote unquote boundaries, that the people who wrong us say the wrong things, whatever this, I don't even know what the person did. And to be honest, when I did talk to my sponsee about it, he didn't even know what he did. And I laughed and I took him instantly to page 133 and said, this is an opportunity for you to cheerfully capitalize on God's omnipotence, because it says, if trouble comes, trouble's coming. Someone's talking about you in the room right now. I'm getting a text message about it. What is going on? You don't know what's going on. So right here, we have trouble. This is the instruction, page 133. So we need to capitalize on it. And it says cheerfully. So let you and I really get happy and say, wow. So now I've got my sponsee on page 133, and now I'm going to take him to page 66, 67. I'm text messaging this fellow, page 66 and 67. So now I've got both people, Justin, on this is our course. The people who wrong us are spiritually sick. So whatever you did to this guy and whatever he did to you, we're all spiritually sick. Little monkeys, little mukakus running around. Justin, some thoughts before we go into the next instruction I sent?
Yeah, no, I like this. One thought that I have is this, and we've noodled this out before in previous episodes about boundaries and how that's not really a big book terminology or concept. I can only take care of myself. I can only make those choices myself. And heck, I'm messed up. I don't know the true from the false there either. But my understanding with the idea of boundaries is that it's, for me, it's I can't tell somebody else what they can or can't do. When they do something that I don't like, I need to remove myself. I need to address it myself and not punish the other person for whatever they did that hurt my feelings or whatever it is. So that's kind of my feedback on that. And I don't know how much big book there is in there, but that's my thoughts on that. Let's move on to the next thing, unless you have some additional feedback.
Well, I want to talk about that, and I'm trying to look what page it is. It says, oh, I can't find it. It says God. Oh, I know where it is. It's here. I got it. Page 86. It says, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Now let's go deep, because as you were speaking, that's what I heard. Like, there is no word with boundaries. So, recovered member of a program God gave you brains to use for what does the book say? You understand? Like, use the book. You just said it. There are no things as boundaries. So the book says quit playing God. So guess what? People can say and do whatever they want. God gave you brains to use. Then why are you in that situation? Like you just said, Justin, like, why are you in that situation? So the next thing I sent to him is this page. Oh, we're here. Page 87, because we're on page 86. So just look over, everybody. I sent him this instruction, and it wasn't to actually it went to both, because after I talked to my sponsee about it and go deeper, was it helpful to mention it to my sponsee? It was, because I need to know what was going on. I needed to get armed with the facts. I needed this guy to know something is going on with this guy. So just be careful, so he's not blindsided at a meeting. And here it is. Pause. Does everyone see that on page 87? Let's just sit here. Because this guy, obviously, I know what happened. I looked at the time. See, God gave me brains. I know what happened. This is a big Sunday morning meeting in Toronto. They were all at the meeting because I got the message at about 12:20. So the meeting's over. Something must have happened 20 minutes after, fellowship. People are in the parking lot doing whatever they do, the after jive talk. And something happened in that moment. And rather than the fellow, see, I've got brains. I can put it two and two together. Rather than the fellow pausing who sent me the message, he sent a message. So the instruction, Justin, is to pause. Why? And this is what I said to him. Fellow, sir, child of God. I used his name, but I'm not going to do it here. It's anonymous. You're agitated. You're agitated. You need to pause. And then it says, you ask for the right thought or action. Nowhere in your book does it say call Nikki M and tell her to tell her sponsee what to do. I mean, think about that. Go deep. So now you've got this fellow playing God, sending me a text telling me what to do. You better tell your sponsee. You see what I mean? This guy is out of control. Sober. I mean, we just did a podcast last week or a few, whenever it comes out, last week or a few weeks ago about, sobriety. See, in that moment, there it is, right there in that moment, you are in sobriety. You are completely disconnected from God. You are not following one instruction, because here's the instructions you're not following when you're doing these things, people. You are playing God. You have not taken a sincere position to abandon yourself to this way of living. You do not have a new attitude. You are not sitting quietly when in doubt, asking God, page 13. When in doubt, you sit quietly with God. See, you're agitated, pause. And I can tell you, if this person would have paused, gone home, we wouldn't even be having a podcast about this, because he would have never sent the text. So thank you, God. See, I like to go deep, and I've said it a million times. And it was really for my sponsee, again, back to page 133, when trouble comes. And you see it all the time. If you're like me and you scroll your life away on memes and weird things and those little 2-minute shorts to make you feel good, or like I like to learn about twin flames. I'm a weirdo. Anyway, they'll go, I heard this one. It's like, this person asked for patience. So what did he get? Well, he got COVID. Nikki got COVID is what I got. And it taught me patience, Justin, because for 2.5 years, I couldn't go anywhere. Like I'm unvaccinated. So think about that. Nikki, I said to God, I need to practice patience. We practice these principles in all our affairs. I want to practice the principle of being patient. Well, God is definitely going to give me a test. Think deeper. This guy wants to learn about being responsible. My sponsee, maybe secretly he asked God in his thoughts, I want to learn about being responsible. So now God has sent him, you understand, this test of being responsible to his fellows. And this was the message that right before, I love God. I love this program. I love God. Right before, and you and I did not talk that we were going to do this topic. This sponsee called me right before because he was just on Noodle. This all just happened yesterday. So he was on Noodle and he said, Nikki, this is really teaching me. My mom has cancer. He told me. My grandmother's 94. My Filipino cousin who came here to help with my family was deported because his papers have expired. And of course, the world's getting very strict on these things. Of course, they're deporting the wrong people. Someone hooked me up with the government. Anyway, this guy needed to stay, but he's gone. And he's like, Nikki, I've got all these problems. And now God sent this fellow who's talking shit on me in the rooms. And he could see it, Justin. He could see it. He could see the gift that God was giving him. He's like, not only do I have all these problems, I even got another one from God so I could demonstrate God's omnipotence. You wonder, like he could see the beauty of being piled up to his neck in problems. And then God threw him one more. And this is a good guy in fellowship. He even said, and I said, I'm shocked because this is like Mr. Everybody knows him. He's a really great guy. No one has a problem with him. And this guy does. And I said, this is your opportunity. You're actually getting a gift from God right now. Like everything is an opportunity. There are no problems. Justin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, as you're sharing that, I'm seeing this phrase that I've repeated thousands of times in a whole new light. And I love when God does that. Hey, here's another angle to look at this. This is the last phrase of step 12. And to practice these principles in all our affairs. And God is going to put those opportunities to practice these principles as I am ready to seek them, whether I think I'm ready or not. They're going to show up. Or if I ask for it, hey, show me some patience, God. I need to practice that principle. I didn't ask that, by the way, because I don't want to practice that principle right now. But that's just something that I think is a natural outgrowth of applying the steps in my life, is that as I bring it full circle, there's that last phrase, practice these principles in all our affairs, that last segment of the circle to make it whole that I just keep going around and around and around with, and then keep practicing it. And God puts those in my place. Any other thoughts on that, Nikki?
Well, yeah, as you were talking, don't mute because I want you to come back in here because you said practice these principles and everybody. See, this is why we get to know people. Our Justin loves baseball. Come on, give us an analogy like that. Like go even deeper into that practicing give us the experience, strength, and hope of like a baseball player. Like, what does this look like? These practicing, like this, I don't know, they're throwing the balls at you and you got to, practicing. Come on.
Yeah, so I was watching highlights of a game just from a recent in the last couple of days, this morning actually, and there was a play where the runner was called out because the umpire said he had gone outside of the base path that he was running. Well, that was a new rule to that person because it was such a strange deviation. And as I look at it, I'm like, I don't see that. But as it gave that person, it gave me an opportunity to learn something new. This is a guy that's in Major League Baseball. He's been playing baseball his entire life, and a rule that had never been used before against him made him out and caused a whole difference in the game. Now, sometimes he probably felt like, hey, this is unfair. This is not the best way to do this. But he learned something, and I, by observing it, learned something too and went, okay, I need to be aware of that. So if I ever have the opportunity to coach baseball again, I can teach my players again that. But at least I understand it now, so I can teach my grandson when he's ready to observe that. Hey, when you're running the base path in this manner, I've seen a person called out for that. So be aware of that. So, no, I think that's just a bringing baseball into it. Any final thoughts on that?
Yes. I just love that. Do you see, everybody? Get to know your people because, see, that even gives him a greater understanding. Justin gets it, and how this can be applied in all our affairs. That this little thing that you said, that new rule that you didn't know about, now you're armed with more facts. about the game, about yourself. How do we bring it back to this phone call? Now my sponsee is armed with more facts about the rooms, about the people in it, that maybe not all people are your friends. How are you going to react or respond when these things happen? And now even the person who messaged me is armed with even more facts about me. I'm only going to speak big book. So be careful when you message me, because I'm only going to give you a big book answer. I'm not going to co-sign playing God. Like we're here to really, and this, I guess our final thoughts in this is that, wow, if I hear this, it's like we, men and women of Alcoholics Anonymous, of any anonymous, we need each other. Because imagine if my friend maybe got to another person. Like imagine a different scenario. Like he messages another sponsee that would actually go and do what he suggested. There goes the chain of commands. There goes the watered down message. There goes the broken big book. There goes now 3 individuals that are now all playing God. They're all in fear. But instead, because all 3 of us, even if one person didn't have the book, the other 2 of us did. And now I can tell you how this is going to happen. It's not going to happen now. I do have gifts. We get the gift of discernment here. And we become alchemists here because the book does cast spells of miracles. And these 2 men, they're grown men, will find their way back into harmony. Because that's what this is about. The book says, and let's end it here. And, I don't know if you want a final thought, but I'll give this thought too, Justin, because this is all about fellowship. So page 153 says this, if I can find it. It says, you will learn the full meaning of love thy neighbor as thyself. See, this is radical. I think that's really the mic drop on the entire fellowship, any fellowship. This life, everybody, besides welcome to the Noodle Podcast on Rico 12, welcome to Earth School. Justin and I are in Earth School, and we tried to learn this through, we both have the same Bible. We have, we've even probably looked at Torahs and everything else, and the Quran and the yoga mat, and you've ran around the baseball track, and we've restricted and controlled, but we're really here not to do any of that. We're here to learn about loving your neighbor as yourself. So I think in the future, Justin, if we ever get calls like that, or someone calls you and says, can you do something about your daughter? Meanwhile, my daughter's 32 years old. I'm not going to do anything. I think my response moving forward, rather than give all of these other instructions, will be page 153, because it's a universal line that you can send to anybody. Why don't you love your neighbor as yourself? I mean, think about that one. When the cops knock at your door and you're like, can we just love your neighbors as yourself? We can get really crazy. Like this is what this is about, being your authentic self in love and light. And I'm just grateful for the reminder, Justin, today, because that's what we do here. We noodle things out. We wake up our consciousness, our awareness. 2 or more people gathered together as a meeting, and we're going to learn the true meaning of love your neighbor as yourself. I love you. And I love grandbaby, and I've never even met him. Send me another picture.
Will do. The last phrase that comes to my mind as I close this out is love and tolerance of others is our code. And that is something that I need to remember. I need to practice that principle in all my affairs, so that when these types of things come up, I don't react in a way that is going to cause more harm than good. I can pause, breathe, respond in a way that's helpful and shows love and tolerance for others, loving my neighbor as myself. So everybody keep coming back. We learn great things as we do these, as we practice these principles. Work this program. You are worth it.